So morning, Gary.
Morning.
Thanks for coming along today. Do you want to just give a quick introduction as to who you are?
Okay, my name's Gary Pollard. I'm the Relationship Director of the YFC Group, Pollard, Scott & Co. in this particular area. My role now is to deal with estate agents like yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Great, okay. The purpose of chatting today is just to give our customers a brief understanding of what's happening in the market.
Okay, so you've read in the news that interest rates have gone up recently. They have. A lot of people have frightened, if that's the best term, of what rates have gone to and payment increases, etc. I would certainly recommend that anyone thinking in terms of borrowing money should go and speak to a mortgage broker or even the local building society to establish exactly how much a mortgage of whatever size is going to cost, because there is a lot of people out there assuming that things will be too expensive for them or whatever. It is true that the bottom line, it depends on the individual's budgeting, their lifestyle, and what their future plans are. So there is no specific advice available. Well, the advice that anybody would give is that everybody's different. So you need to go and check yourself as to whether something is affordable.
So before they even start looking for a property, the best advice that we can give them right now is to pop along and see yourself, just to see what they can afford. And
it's not just the actual mortgage payments, it's all the other costs involved as well, and that needs to be properly gone through, as I say, with a broker. The issue as regards interest rates, yes, interest rates have gone up. You're talking about rates bouncing anywhere between 6.5% now, where rates at one stage you could be less than 2%, and 4% was considered high. So there has been an increase, and existing mortgage borrowers will feel the pinch when they come to review their mortgage again. But banks and building societies will remain as competitive as they can be,
with each other,
because they have to lend money. That's the way that they make money.
So what's the process for somebody, just say they've decided to come out rented, they want to buy a property, what's the process for them? What happens when they come and speak to you? Okay,
so with any broker type environment, they will go through quite a few legalities in respect of what they can and cannot do. They would collate all their personal information, they would discuss options, and they ultimately need, if they still want to go ahead with it, will need to get something called a decision in principle or an agreement in principle from a lender. A broker is geared up to do that for them. There is no commitment. There very often can be no cost involved as well, but you will be told if there are any fees involved in respect of any work that will be done beforehand. But that's what they need to do. They need to get themselves in a position where they're in a position where they can proceed.
And as in from an estate agency point of view, we need that decision in principle for proof that that buyer can afford the property that they're looking for.
Usually it will stand for anything up to 3 months.
Great. So what I get a lot of people asking me that they're in a mortgage currently, but they're deciding to move due to different circumstances. Can they port a mortgage? Is that really relatively easy?
Most mortgages you can port to a new property. If they're looking to borrow extra money, the lender in question will talk to them about a different interest rate for any extra that they will be paying. If they're coming down market and they want to reduce their borrowing, a lot of lenders will have penalty charges built into their mortgages, so they have to be careful, because if their overpayment when they come to move is more than, say, 10%, that's when they may incur some penalty charges. But most mortgages are portable to another property.
What's better, fixed or variable?
That is one of those things that it's very much an individual's choice. It depends on their attitude to risk. The market has probably seen still more people fixing, whether they fix shorter term, whether they fix longer term, depends on their work scenario and the way that they budget. There are some people, and it's all a gamble, I suppose, at this moment in time, because nobody has a clue what's going to happen going forward. So some people will hedge their bets and go on what's called a tracker mortgage. So if the rate comes down, their rate will come down with it. But if the rates go up again, they will be paying more.
Which potentially they're going to, aren't they? But we don't know. We don't know. Yeah.
No, we don't know. And it is, unfortunately, people come for advice. But there comes a point where it depends on that individual's attitude to risk, budgeting, things like that. Obviously, with fixed rates, you know exactly how much you're going to be paying for X number of years, and that's the only definite.
And is it often better to pay the fee to come out of your mortgage to get a better product? Again, I suppose.
Again, it depends on circumstances. It is an option. Some people have done it for whatever reason, but it's very much, again, dependent on a particular applicant's circumstances. But the facility is there. Sometimes to some people it's not a great deal of money, to others it is quite a lot of money. So, but if somebody's coming out of a deal at the moment, there is a very good chance that they will have a lower rate.
Right.
And they may not get that lower rate or an opportunity to get that rate again in the future.
Right.
So a lot of people, going back to your question about porting, will port their existing mortgage for that very reason. But it's available, but you can't specifically say whether it's the right thing to do or not.
What's the minimum deposit now?
You can still go to 95%.
Right.
So 5% is still the minimum. It is available. Again, lenders want to lend. So there's still flexibility out there. What isn't probably that great is that once upon a time, well, a year or two ago and years before, if you had a sizable deposit, that got you an excellent rate. There's not dramatic differences in rates at this moment in time. So it's really down to lenders' flexibility. It may well be that the client's particular purchase is unique or quirky in some way. Some lenders have some quirky products. So it's what their service levels are like and things like this. But there is a few lenders coming back to market now that the names of which a lot of people will have never heard of, and that's their difficulty.
Right.
And again, they're coming out with quirky products, which will be good things. But again, with experience, if you were dealing with a lender that you've never heard of, rather than one of the more popular lenders, high street lenders, most people will normally go with the ones that they've heard of before, unless there is a dramatic saving. And there is no, I would say that there's no dramatic savings at this moment in time. And
you test the absolute full market, don't you? Yeah. There's not one lender that you won't look at.
When somebody comes to see a broker, they normally will have access to the full market within a degree. There are one or two lenders out there that only deal directly with the public. Right. So you can't say the full market, I suppose.
So what's the difference, Gary, between what you would do and what your local building society would look for?
Our job is to make the whole process as easy as possible, save people money and save people time. The problem with the high street lenders at the moment is that they've lost a lot of staff, or they've taken the route to go down where they've reduced their own mortgage advisor levels. And very often I'm hearing, I just heard something yesterday, it could take you 3 weeks to get an appointment with some lenders.
It's interesting.
Brokers sometimes have access to exclusive deals that high street lenders have as well, and other lenders. So it's usually about saving time and money, and convenience.
Have you got a product at the moment that's quite popular, or is it just a variety?
No, it's a variety. As I said earlier, everything is different with every single client sometimes. So it's about attempting to fit whatever products are available and the service to that individual that suits. Some people can only be seen at night time, for example.
Which you do, because you just give them a call 24/7.
To be fair, most brokers will work all different hours, etc. And yes, I have used the phrase that we do work 24/7, 365 days a year, etc. So but it's all about service, because if there is not a lot to choose between brokers or whatever, it's down to service. It really is down to service.
Anything else that you feel like you need to go through, Gary? Because I just want to get as much information out to people as possible.
Obviously, I'm biased because I'm from a mortgage broker background, but really speaking, and there's a certain famous person that's on TV on a regular basis has actually come out and said, use a mortgage broker because they will save you a lot of time and hassle. And they should be, should be saving you money as well. And it really is about contacting somebody who is impartial with their advice, and it helps if they know the property market as well. Certainly, all right. I've only been doing this job 44 years. I've owned 2 estate agents as well, so that experience comes in handy in that respect. So, and it's all invaluable when you start talking to people who have never experienced possibly buying a house in the mortgage market at all. There's the other end where you have people taking out big mortgages in certain areas, a big Lake District and in cities and one thing and another. It can mean quite a big difference in savings, right down to solicitors, for example. So, it really is invaluable, but always check beforehand. Are they going to charge you any fees? When are they going to charge you the fee? What will the fee be? And as I said before, there are some people out there that don't charge fees anyway.
If you're self-employed, what's the number of years now that you have to have evidence of your financial status?
There is, it can be anywhere between 1 year's books to 3 years, right? And they're looking for additional information in certain circumstances, but again, depends on the client's deposit, depends on the background, because a lot of self-employed are limited now, so they're classed as directors, so it's salary and dividends, for example. So depending on the size of deposit, depending on the actual proposition, there are some lenders out there that will only ask for 1 year's books or 1 year's accounts, but some will go up to 3 years. So again, it's all unique.
Yeah, and I think for people looking to take out mortgages now, the best thing they need to do is just get advice early on and find that product that's going to match what they need.
Yeah, because the advice, again, shouldn't be costing them anything, and it really is about, can I really afford to do this in the first place? I've got to stress, the mortgage payment sometimes is the easy bit because you know exactly what you're going to be paying. It's everything else that goes with it. So that's why you need to speak to a broker or an expert or whatever to assess that. But there's only you, the client, that knows whether it's affordable. People will sometimes say, well, yeah, you can't afford this. I've been doing this a long time. There's only you, the client, knows whether it's affordable.
I think sometimes people get a shock because they think, I actually can afford this.
Possibly. I think there's a lot of people getting shocks at the moment when they obviously the mortgages are coming to an end and they've been on something like 1.5%, and it's all of a sudden going to jump to 4.5%. Banks and building societies are going out of their way to accommodate people from an affordability point of view, to extend terms of years, things like that. They do not want to be repossessing thousands of houses. So I've spoken to people that have got property in London, and if you can imagine coming off a £500,000 mortgage, you're going to be paying an extra payment upwards of £600, £700, £800 a month extra on top of what you're already paying. So do not leave it till the last minute. lenders now are looking, there are some now that are looking up to 6 months before the end of that mortgage, so you can start looking early and preparing the way. The only problem is some people will wait till the last minute thinking that rates might drop and things like this. You know, it is what it is at this moment in time. We are being told that the rates will, the market will possibly not settle for a couple of years, but nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So you've got to assume that those rates won't come down for quite some time, if at all. And you know, unfortunately, there will be some people that will be struggling.
Yeah.
But there will be help out there in some form or another.
So the key is not to worry, just to get the best
Do not
advice
leave it to the last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't get us wrong, I can remember when rates were 15.25.
Yeah.
But you could buy a street for £27,000, it's not a house
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all relative,
Yeah.
and we're having to borrow a lot more money and pay higher prices for our properties nowadays. So yeah, it's quite important that you get that advice and you get it as early as possible, so you know exactly where you stand.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Gary. That's great.
No problem.